Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. I wanted to dedicate an episode to clearing your energy body. In order to master your reality creation, you will need to clear and heal your emotional, mental, and physical bodies. So I haven't really dedicated an episode on this, and this is important because if you can't do this, then you will not be able to effectively create your reality in the way that you want. Your emotional, mental, and physical bodies are the three areas that comprise the actual density within your bioenergetic sphere. Your thoughts and emotions are actual things. They have a molecular weight to them, much as protons and electrons. Your mental and emotional bodies exist, yet you cannot see either of them. Your physical body you can see, of course, because it is physical. However, a thing need not be manifest in the physical in order for it to have a density to it. Energy in and of itself is a non-physical phenomenon and yet has a certain density to it. Even though you can only see one of these three bodies, they all three need clearing and healing. The road to mastery begins with awareness of self. Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked the question, who am I? It's kind of unsettling when you ask that question and realize that you may not really know the answer. Most people are living in a costume that they never take off. The problem is that the costume is restrictive and only allows you to play a certain role by certain rules. Most people exist within a personality shell for the entirety of their lives. You can never truly live out your dreams while wearing this costume, this personality shell. Clearing yourself will help you to dismantle the costume and experience the unlimited version of you that is underneath. It does not happen overnight. Rather, it is through the process of being consistent in your dedication to releasing your emotional wounds, inputting positive commands into your subconscious, and clearing yourself that you will begin to witness an augmented reality. I use three primary methods for clearing and healing. They are meditation, affirmation, and release. You will benefit greatly from doing any one of these practices. The integration of all three will make you unstoppable in the pursuit of your chosen reality. People are born with a bright, shiny little magnet in the core of their being. Clearing your emotional body is like polishing the dirt off the magnet so that you only draw to yourself what you want. Your emotional body consists of emotional wounds, beliefs, and the feelings associated with the wounds and beliefs. Clearing the emotional body can be extremely rewarding for those people who are holding on to all of their old emotional baggage. This unhealed energy can literally create a blockade that will not allow energy to flow into your life. It can also sit within you at a deeply unconscious level and magnetize like vibrational people, places, and events to you. This is really bothersome because you can continuously draw a negative circumstance to yourself and not know that it comes from deep inside of you. Thus, healing and releasing your emotional body can give you great creative freedom. Now, you may be asking, isn't this the same as just releasing or clearing my subconscious mind? There are levels to this and aspects to it, but yes, it's similar, but there is more to it. Before you begin to gain emotional freedom, you will need to disengage your mind. So many people torture themselves continuously with an ongoing barrage of never-ending thoughts. I cannot personally think of any worse affliction than not being able to stop thinking. Without proper rest from the mind, you will eventually develop some sort of neurosis or depression. Traditionally, you are supposed to be able to get this break from your mind when you sleep at night. However, most people in this day and age do not get near the proper sleep requirements, if they get any sleep at all. Stress, stimulants, deadlines, and the desire to achieve more drive people upwards and onwards at all costs. People are even willing to forgo their health in favor of achieving more financial rewards. To combat this and gain a foothold over your emotional highs and lows, I recommend you begin with 20 minutes of meditation in the morning. If that's too much, then try for 5 minutes. Remember, you are here to become the master of your reality creation, so get ready to do the work. One thing you can try is the Soham mantra meditation. After teaching this meditation to a number of people and witnessing firsthand results, I became convinced of the powerful effects it can have. It's easy to master and a great first step for people who have never meditated before. When I first began meditating, it was purely for the enhancement of my success. What I found was not only did I make more money and become more successful, but I also became more peaceful and expended a lot less energy trying to get things done. So sit in a quiet place, comfortably relaxed and upright, making sure you will not be disturbed. Turn off your phone if you can, unless you're doing a meditation. You do not need to hold a rigid posture for this type of meditation. In fact, when I do this, I lean against a chair or a wall to support my lower back. Close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Get even more relaxed. After a minute, you'll begin to mentally whisper the word "so" when you inhale, and the word "hum" when you exhale. Many people struggle saying anything when they inhale, so is easy. Make sure you breathe in and out through your nose. Do not force the breath. Don't try to resonate the breath with the words. Instead, it's the other way around. Breathe naturally through the nose and let the words resonate with the breath, generally whispering "so" mentally in your mind and hum mentally in your mind when you exhale. If you find yourself thinking about something, do not be discouraged. Just bring yourself back to the mantra. I find that some mantras are very easy to do because it gives you something to do. Eventually, the mantra may be replaced or disappear, and you may experience a deeper peace, a floating expansion, and other varied states of consciousness, all of which are signs of productive meditation. If the mantra disappears at some point and you feel your presence growing, allow the process. Results will appear gradually in your life. Thus, the best meditation practice is a consistent practice. Stick with 20 minutes a day in the morning for the first 3 months, and afterwards add another 20 minutes in the afternoon. When I first began meditating, I noticed subtle yet profound results in my life. One of the things that happens when you meditate is that everything in your life suddenly becomes easier and your efforts become more successful. After my first 3 weeks of consistent meditation, my life changed so dramatically that I got caught up in my newfound success and quit meditating. What I didn't realize was that it was because of the meditation that I had become successful. So after a couple of weeks with no meditation practice, I began to notice life seemed harder. It took me a while to put it all together. It's so subtle that you can easily fool yourself into believing something other than the truth. The truth for me was that I doubled my success by meditating and then backpedaled in my progress when I stopped meditating. Another amazing thing that happens from meditation is that you become less reactive. In other words, you begin to diffuse your reactive, unconscious behavior. When you allow your mind to rest with meditation, your psyche has a chance to heal itself and you gain emotional clarity. Suddenly, things were a really big deal and really bothering you. You don't matter nearly as much. When you quit unconsciously reacting to everything around you, there's suddenly space to make conscious choices. This newfound awareness will bring you a more solid foundation for taking command of your reality. Every time you speak a word, you are verbalizing and solidifying a thought. Check out my episode on You Are the Word. The words are important. The words that you use are critical. Solidifying a thought with your words causes it to manifest into form. The truth is, when a thought arises within your mind, it is offering itself to you as an option to manifest into form. You sift through thousands of thoughts a day, picking and choosing which ones you want to give attention to. When you use affirmations and speak the word aloud, you are purposefully bringing desired thoughts into form. This is also a good way to cut through mental clutter. As you continue to speak only of that which you wish to experience, you will become very powerful. Any thought spoken aloud consistently enough will come to manifest as a physical thing or event. Your ability to consistently speak of your desired outcome will help you master the ability to direct non-physical energy into physical form. Affirmations are one of the single most powerful and often overlooked ways of affecting change in your life. Now, I know some people say, well, Neville Goddard said not to affirm anything. Actually, he was teaching that Jesus said any vain repetitions are bad. And that's just because you're affirming without actually inducing the feeling and thought. You can transcend all limitations with the power of the spoken word alone. Personally, I used to scoff at the idea of affirmations because it was such an intangible, esoteric idea with no large body of evidence to support it. When I read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, I decided to try affirmations in earnest. When I really applied affirmations consistently on a daily basis, I began to make dramatic changes in my life. I noticed that I felt better, I was more decisive, and I was able to create more opportunity for myself. Affirmations are a great way to cut through the mass mind and the pendulums as well. The mass mind is most effective when you are unclear of what you want or when you feel confused and emotionally unstable. In this state of confusion and emotional instability, you are most vulnerable to negative, limited thinking. However, when you use affirmations, you become impenetrable to mass beliefs and negative emotional states. When you use them properly, people cannot affect you with their limiting ideas about the state of the world or what you should do with your life. The more you practice affirmations, the more precise and effective you will be in creating your life exactly the way you want it. You may start with a simple affirmation like I am successful, and then over time you start picking out words that are more powerful, that work more effectively. And in many cases, I've found that people use different words over time and they start to really resonate with certain words and phrases. One of the first things I noticed when I began doing affirmations consistently was that I felt I was literally creating my reality with my words. I noticed, however, that after several days of not doing affirmations, my reality creation would also begin to crumble and fall apart. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep doing it. At first, I was really despondent and began to despair, thinking that affirmations were a big load of cow dung. When I started doing the affirmations again, I again noticed the positive results after 2 or 3 days. My first thought was, gee, am I going to have to do affirmations every day for the rest of my life? My second thought was, am I really complaining about having to say a few words every day to create my dream life? And there it was. I suddenly realized that, like anything else in life, consistency equals results. In order to create changes that last a lifetime, you will need to dedicate your life and your actions to creating the changes that you want. I know that you desire to change everything in a single motion, in a single minute, in a single moment, but it's not going to work like that. Consistently every day is how you do it. So you could say something and start with, I am happy, joyous, and free, or I am radiant and abundant, attracting more wealth to me every day, or I am strong, powerful, and healthy. Again, be consistent. Do it every single day. If you do, you will get results. If you don't, you will not get results. These particular affirmations are more generalized, which makes them more effective for elevating and stabilizing your emotional state. When I do affirmations, I like to integrate into my daily routine, usually after meditations or when I work out. I like to combine affirmations with physical actions that I do. I generally try to do affirmations 2 or 3 times a day, every day. 4 or 5 minutes. However, because emotional affirmations can help you in the moment, it can be helpful to do them anytime you feel that you're not emotionally stable. Thus, emotional affirmation can be used either in a routine or throughout the day, depending upon your needs. When you say an affirmation, say it out loud to yourself. Try to state your affirmations with as much feeling as you can muster. If you're really down or depressed, then just do the best you can, and it will still have a positive impact. Remember to be consistent, meaning that you will need to say the affirmations on a daily basis. Remember, the affirmations you are saying may not be true for you in this moment. Don't focus on the lack of truth in this moment. That's the whole point. You are working at affecting transformation and change. So release your judgments about whether it's true or not. Don't go to that thought. When it comes to emotional affirmations, use a barrage of them to create the biggest change. Start with something simple and say those 3 times a day. The next step in the process of emotional clearing and taking charge of your reality creation is to facilitate the release of all your old emotional baggage. Ultimately, if you were to clear all your emotional baggage with this one step, you could completely master your ability to manifest as you would become crystal clear. There would be no confusion about what you want, and you would have no emotional pitfalls to sabotage yourself with. However, if it were that easy, a lot more people would have already done this. Like everything else in your life you want to achieve, you will need to work consistently to clear yourself using emotional release techniques. A big part of the process of understanding emotional release is understanding the relationship between your negative emotions, anger, jealousy, fear, envy, lust, etc., to any pain in your body. If you have any physical ailments or aches and pains in your body, you probably have stored emotional baggage. Wherever there is pain or tension in your body, you can bet it relates to the unhealed emotional energy that is being stored in that particular part of the body. In other words, your unhealed emotional wounds can literally sit inside different areas of your body and manifest as physical ailments. Here is a hint. I have never met anyone ever, anywhere, who wasn't holding on to some sort of emotional baggage, and that includes me. Stored emotional baggage affects your vibrational field and vibrational rate of attraction. As your vibrational energy field is constantly radiating out from you, you definitely want to make sure that you are sending the clearest signal you can. Your stored emotional energy is emitting a signal that is most likely drawing situations to you that you do not want. Generally speaking, nobody wants unpaid bills, an abusive partner, or confrontations with angry people at the grocery store. However, your unhealed, unconscious, stored emotional energy will draw exactly these kinds of circumstances to you. Do you ever wonder why some days you have to really try to stay positive? It's because this energy becomes active when you haven't acted out on it in a long time. In the section on the mass mind, we talked about the pain body. As we discussed, this negative emotional energy or pain body needs you to feed it in order to stay alive. So sometimes it will literally become active and magnetize people, places, or circumstances to you that are designed to get you to react unconsciously in a negative way, to feed it its sustenance. Its sustenance is your own negative, lower vibrational emotional energy. In other words, your pain body needs to get you to feel negative in order to stay alive. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this in the chemicals that are created at certain times becoming somewhat addiction-oriented in your body. You become addicted to the negative states. Your pain body needs to get you to feel negative in order to have these chemicals running in your body. Part of the process of releasing your emotional baggage is actively starving out the pain body. My favorite teachers of emotional release are Eckhart Tolle, Hale Dwoskin, Brad Yates, definitely Dr. Joe Dispenza. In his book, Practicing the Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle teaches how to become aware of the pain body and how it feeds off your negativity. In his book, The Sedona Method, fantastic book by Hale Dwoskin, he describes his technique for allowing yourself to release negative emotions. Brad Yates has taken EFT, or the emotional freedom technique, to a whole new level by allowing you to do online EFT through his website. Ultimately, you need to discover which techniques work best for you to heal and clear your emotional body. I can offer you a basic release technique that works for me. First of all, find a relaxing place to sit where you will not be disturbed. Take 2 deep breaths, try to relax, close your eyes, and just sit for a moment. Pick an area of your life that is troubling you right now. It can be anything ranging from your relationship, your finances, your physical body, or painful memories. You want to generally start, however, with what is bothering you the most in this moment. Allow yourself to fully feel all of the emotions behind this issue. See if you can completely allow this scenario to unfold in your mind, no matter how painful it is. In other words, do not offer any resistance to it. Now see if you can completely allow it to be there 100% and allow yourself to experience the emotions without identifying with them. Know that your emotions are not you. They are what you experience. When you completely detach from identification with your emotions, that is when you can release them. Now just ask yourself if you're willing to release these emotions. Give yourself a minute or more asking yourself this question: can I release these emotions? Let it settle in. Do not try to answer this question for yourself. Instead, allow yourself to be guided. It doesn't matter whether the answer is yes or no. Just stay relaxed and allow. One of the ways you'll know if this technique is working is if you feel lighter afterward, more peaceful. If you still feel some or all of the emotion, that is okay. You may wish to repeat the release a few times. After you're done, do some emotional affirmations to assure that you are still in command of your reality. There's another technique you can use that is sort of on the spot. When something triggers you while you're going out throughout the day, in other words, if someone or something suddenly triggers you emotionally, you can release it right then and there. For many people, this is hard. So if this has just happened, the first thing you need to do is find a place where you're comfortable. If you cannot leave the area, then do the best you can. Within your mind, see if you can allow yourself to experience the emotion that is triggered and remain relaxed at the same time. Now go within the emotion and see if you can allow yourself to go deep down inside of it as much as you can. Ask yourself mentally or out loud, could I allow myself to go deeply within this emotion? When you do this, allow yourself some time and try to stay as relaxed as possible. When you go deeply enough within the emotion, that is when you can release it. Sometimes what happens is you don't like the emotion you're feeling, so you run away from it, and then it goes into your body because it needs to go somewhere. So spending a moment to really feel the emotion is scary. Sometimes you will release a little bit, sometimes a lot, and sometimes you can release an entire emotional issue inside of just a couple of minutes. After you're done, check yourself to see how you're feeling. If you're feeling good, the chances are that you released it. If you feel emotional, then maybe you still need to do some work. That is not always effective. It's hard for us to overcome our reactive conscious mind. We react to things automatically. It's a program that we have deep within us. So learning to overcome this reactive portion of ourselves is important. When I first experimented with emotional release work, I could not believe how simple and profound it was. The Sedona method was so simple, yet it would just make me feel so good. I clearly remember the time I used to have after an egoic stare down with another guy at the gym. My insecurity had gotten the better of me, and I succumbed to the staring game with the guy who was working out at the same time as I was. He stared at me again, and I tried to ignore it. I was fuming at this outrage. How dare he assume this aggressive posture with me? Suddenly I remembered this technique and I decided I would try it. I left the gym, went out to my car, sat down, closed my eyes, felt the anger and rage I had towards this guy. I allowed myself to feel these emotions as strongly as I could. Next, I asked myself if I could release it. To my surprise, I began to feel the energy literally leaving my body upwards and out. In that moment, I felt lighter, more peaceful. The next thing that happened was that I realized under my anger was a fear. In that instant, I suddenly understood that a lot of my anger was a result of feeling fearful all the time. So then I applied the same technique to the fear. Again, I felt some energy leaving my body. Not as much as the first time, but still significant. Today, I try to use this technique constantly and notice that I have fewer and fewer emotional issues in my life. I even used it when I felt my heart was beating too hard in my chest. After I applied the emotional release technique, my heart began to beat more softly. Now we have to talk about clearing the mental body. In his groundbreaking book, Evolve Your Brain, Joe Dispenza refers to your neural networks, which I will shorten to neural net. Your mental body is composed of your neural net, or your habitual thought patterns. As it turns out, thinking in certain patterns can become addictive. When we think different thoughts, our brain fires different neural patterns, which trigger different biochemical states in our body. Releasing these different chemicals over and over again creates a dependency that results in addiction to the certain types of thoughts that lead to certain types of behaviors. Why do you act that way? It's because your body secretly is addicted to it. This is also one of the reasons why it can take effort to actually control your thoughts, because you're fighting a drug addiction in your body. You are addicted to the negative emotion. Purposely controlling your thoughts can be difficult. How do you do that? Instead of forcing anything at all, begin to discern the nature of your thoughts. The first step towards controlling your thoughts is to understand the difference between a positive and a negative thought. Another way of looking at it is to understand the difference between a productive thought and an unproductive thought. Every thought you think has an outcome attached to it. Every outcome you think of will either move you up the ladder in a productive way or move you down the ladder in a negative direction. Basically, anything you think that does not promote yours or someone else's health and well-being is an unproductive or negative thought. Next, you need to understand how to identify the difference between a positive and negative thought when they arise within your mind. Luckily for us, we all have a built-in inner sense of well-being that tells us when we are feeling or being negative. It's our feeling power. Every time you generate a thought, you intuitively know immediately through your feelings whether it's positive or negative. If you are dwelling upon a particular subject matter and you are not feeling good about it, chances are you have involved yourself in a negative thought process. On top of that, you are most likely focused upon an outcome that you do not want as opposed to one that you do. As an example, I used to think about how I would get back at people whom I felt had wronged me in some way. The problem was that it never felt good to think about the ways in which I could get them back. Also, I noticed that the more negatively I thought about them, the more likely I was to magnetize this person right back into my life. Not only that, but thinking about them in a negative way would ensure that I would magnetize them in a negative way. My bad feeling thoughts led to bad feeling outcomes. At first, I was resistant to the idea of thinking positively about people I thought were negative. After I tried it, though, I realized that was the only way to live. I began to think more positive thoughts about everyone, including the people who I had previously referred to as negative. Lo and behold, people began to act more positively towards me. It's amazing to see how addicted to negative thinking you can become and not know it, and the amazing transformation that results when you begin to think positively. So think about someone with whom you've had a disagreement or some friction. Challenge yourself and see if you can find something good about this person. In other words, pick something that is good about them to focus upon. Think about how you would like that person to be in your life. Feel the joy of smiling and laughing with this person. Pay attention to the results of your efforts. Your new thoughts will create a new reality. I promise. You'll be projecting a higher version of this person into your reality and reap a more rewarding and productive outcome. After you've spent some time working on redirecting your thoughts towards productive and positive outcomes, you can then begin to work on repatterning your neural net. You do this by gaining more knowledge, learning new skills, establishing new ways of living. In other words, you need to enact new behaviors and ways of thinking in order to develop a new neural net. In addition, if you want to create a new expanded neural net, you need to consistently enact new behaviors and ways of thinking. Remember what Neville Goddard says. First, you reap a thought, then you reap a habit, then you reap a character, then you reap a destiny. The habit is a part of reality creation. You need to consistently enact new behaviors and ways of thinking. Changing your behavior and becoming a positive thinker for a day just won't cut it. You'll need to develop the consistent habit of thinking in new ways and opening up to new ideas. And once you see the results this new habit produces, you'll be inspired to permanently adopt it into your lifestyle. What I noticed about myself is that after I had been redirecting my thoughts for just a week, not only did I manifest new and incredible things in my life, but I also found it was easier to maintain those positive feeling thoughts the following week. So my progress was cumulative. In this way, you can build upon your progress, each positive thought upon the next. And it does get easier. At one point in my life, I'd become the most negative person I knew. I was severely depressed, extremely cynical. When I first started redirecting my thoughts and reconstructing my neural net, it was like trying to walk through quicksand with cement boots on. I felt like I weighed 10,000 pounds every step of the way, but even though I was exhausted, I kept at it. Amazingly, after only 3 days of redirecting my thoughts towards the positive, I began to see results. I felt better, not quite as depressed and cynical, and I started magnetizing more financial opportunities into my life. For 2 years, I had been experiencing the worst depression in my life, and now in the span of 3 days, I had begun to reverse the cycle. The work was not done, however. I lapsed on my positive thinking and affirmations, and it took only a couple days before I began to spiral back downwards into depression and gloom. It was so overwhelming that I nearly forgot how I had started to break out of my vicious cycle. When I realized that I wasn't redirecting my thoughts and doing my affirmations, I quickly began anew. This time I stuck with it until I felt great and also had a full thriving business to match my good feelings. It did work for me. I just needed to maintain consistency to maintain my results. So pick one thing that you want to change about yourself. It could be to smile at people instead of frown, or take the time to give each one of your kids a hug in the morning, or say something nice to a coworker, or stay calm in traffic instead of being angry. Now be consistent with this exercise, meaning practice this new behavior every day. After 1 week, notice how much better you feel, how you're attracting more positive circumstances to yourself. Your new way of thinking will create a neural net, making positive changes easier to make. And ultimately, you will want to challenge yourself more and more, changing new behaviors and creating a completely new neural net and a completely new you. You can use affirmations on the mental body as well. When you use affirmations on the mental body, you are enhancing your neural net, planting seeds for higher vibrational emotions and taking conscious control of your reality creation. Anytime you consciously input a positive command into your mental body, you are elevating your vibrational rate of attraction. The more you do this, the more beneficial and positive your results will be. Inserting positive commands into your mental body through the use of affirmations will ultimately result in total control of your reality. When you take charge of your life by consciously choosing the thoughts and thought patterns you want in your mind, you will experience the outer reflection of this choice in the physical world around you. Even if you had to do this every day on a daily basis for the rest of your life, wouldn't it be worth it to be in total control of every aspect of your life? To me, the answer is a big yes. Affirmations helped to turn my life around and led me to a total control of my reality. Using affirmations to maximize the power of my mind greatly accelerated the rate of return as I worked to create the reality I truly wanted. Say affirmations out loud to yourself for mental power. Say them every day. Remember, at least 3 days may be necessary in order for you to begin to even notice anything. So you can say this, you can say, I am clear, precise, and exact in every moment. I am ultimate power. I'm connected to higher wisdom at all times. I can't tell you how much saying these phrases out loud to myself several times a day impacted my life in a positive way. Not only did they help me to create my life, they also gave me a wonderful sense of empowerment. Just try it for yourself. You'll begin to feel like you can do anything. They also act as mental commands that sink into the deeper layers of your mental body. After repeating these affirmations enough times, they will become part of your subconscious mind, which is when they become part of your new neural net. I would just caution, don't try to figure out when your new neural net has finally taken hold. Instead, your best bet is to faithfully carry out the exercise every day and to continue them even after you start experiencing the amazing results that will most definitely occur. The best part about consistently saying these positive affirmations is that in order to commit to this, you have to make the decision that you are worth it. That decision alone will shift the overall direction and pattern of your life. I also want to talk about clearing the physical body. Clearing your physical body is another vitally important step towards gaining total control over your reality creation and your power of manifestation. Anytime you're attempting to manifest something in your life, your ability to do so will be dependent upon the strength of your energy field. If you're physically unfit or unhealthy in any way, your energy field is compromised. This is because when you have any sort of health concern, your body utilizes all available energy to heal itself, and you will be mentally drawn to focus upon this area until you are healed. In other words, your ability to focus is hindered by the fact you have a nagging concern that continuously draws your attention and energy away from your intended manifestation. Healing and fine-tuning your physical body is a necessary step towards mastering the art of manifestation. You don't need to become a workout maniac or go on a crash diet or fast for 30 days. However, establishing a regular workout routine, having a balanced diet, and doing occasional cleanses is definitely recommended. Your body is the vehicle with which you experience your reality creation. If you think about it, it's the whole reason to manifest anything at all. If you manifest a new car, you need to be physically well enough to drive it, right? If you manifest a new house, you need to be healthy enough to be able to enjoy it. If you manifest your new dream job, you have to be able to perform optimally. If you are now able to buy fantastic new clothes because your new dream job pays you tons of cash, you want to fit in them and look great, right? And if you haven't found your dream mate or partner yet, you definitely want to feel that you are physically appealing when you do, don't you? I know it's hard. Sometimes I don't want to work out or eat healthy. It's a constant struggle for all of us. So I like the concept of just baby steps. Baby steps are particularly important when it comes to improving your health and fitness. So take walks. Decide that you're going to cut one unhealthy thing from your daily eating routine. Baby steps work best because they are less threatening to the part of your unconscious that has enjoyed its comfort zone for so many years. Add one healthy thing to your diet as well. For example, you may wish you have one less slice of bread or cut out a dessert item, but then also add a shot of wheatgrass or a side salad. Once you get used to doing without the first type of unhealthy food you've eliminated from your diet, you can cut out the next unhealthy food and then the next. And as you gradually shift yourself away from unhealthy foods and begin adding more healthy foods to your diet, you'll find that you've naturally developed the eating patterns that truly support your ultimate health. If you already have a good diet and get some exercise, you can begin to fine-tune your body. For ultimate fitness, you will need an integration of physical training, cardio and weight training. I don't think doing one or the other by itself is enough, as well as some sort of mind-body connection exercise. I'd recommend for the average person, make sure they get some form of physical exercise at least 2 days a week, and then try to do some sort of mind-body exercise for another 2, like yoga or Pilates or Tai Chi or Qigong. My personal regime is 5 days a week of weight training and cardio. And then I also integrate yoga or Qigong on every workout. That's my own personal, and that's what works for me. Start small with your exercise routine. Don't try to take it all at once. I'm certainly no personal trainer, so don't take my words. Go and find videos. There's some amazing people that can teach you how to be healthy. The Certified Health Nut is one place to start. Begin with changes that are sustainable. Don't set yourself up for failure with a routine that is unrealistic for you. Clearing your physical body will also improve your biochemistry. Healthy biochemistry is essential to maintaining your optimum state of well-being. Unfortunately, biochemical depression is something that can become very pervasive. Biochemical depression can develop from a variety of factors, but I've found 3 are common: too much coffee, stress, and lack of sleep. Oftentimes, these 3 can kind of come as a package deal. Biochemical depression and altered emotional states of being can develop very subtly without your conscious awareness that they are taking place. What happens is you begin to get a bit caught up in your 1001 things that you have to do. This may lead to beginning drinking too much coffee. Either way, you can end up extremely stressed out at the end of the day. You start waking up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep because you're thinking about the 1001 things you have to do. This is the beginning of a very vicious cycle that begins to create a hormonal imbalance within your body, and you can eventually become depressed, neurotic, even glucose intolerant from this process. The next step is the downward spiral, is the accelerated degeneration of your body, and it begins with some tightness in various parts of your body, perhaps your neck and shoulders or lower back. Then comes the aches and pains that appear in your wrists, soon digestive problems in the afternoon, and what follows is the inability to digest many different foods, especially starches and sugars. There's a whole cascade of things that can happen. Then you're taking antidepressants to resolve the hormonal imbalances that occur. Cut back on your caffeine and sugars and starches. I love my coffee, I get it, but it does help to cut back on that a little bit. Begin doing some breathing and meditation exercises before you go to bed. That can also help. And do meditations, any of them. All of these things together will clear your energy body, your mental body, and your physical body. The more you do these things, you will find that the thing that you're trying to create comes so much easier. But it's got to start with this process. Go through a process of clearing your energy body, and you can manifest anything that you want. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com, and welcome to The Reality Revolution.